Oh yeah. Good evening, YouTube. It's your man George Page coming to you live on YouTube. And this is my a live stream I wanted to do. As you know, I'm a fan of female bodybuilding and just a fan of women with muscle in general. A live stream I wanted to do. As you know, I'm a fan of female bodybuilding and just a fan of women with muscle in general. A live stream I wanted to do. As you know, I'm a fan of female bodybuilding and just a fan of women with muscle in general. Sorry about that. The Getting the reverberation. I'm just trying to work this. How are you supposed to get it so you don't? You should hear me. If not, hmm, question is, yeah, I think you should hear me because it's the back feed from the you know but if any out there you want to talk about it, come on and discuss and talk about the sport of bodybuilding in general. Be happy. I enjoy it. It's a sport that's kind of gets a lot of it doesn't get a lot of support. It just gets a lot of you know people don't like it because the fact is, especially with like when I came up as a kid, I got into bodybuilding because of my older brother James, and he used to play football. He played football since he was a kid, and he got into weightlifting. And most times, you had to get the magazines, like the Muscle and Fitness, Iron Man, Flex. Those were the popular magazines that was around. And then, and he used to get them, and and he looks through them, and he followed what the guys had done, different, you know, uh, you know, weight sets, weights, and all that, and he over time he really he liked it. He helped in his muscles, helped him build him to be stronger so he could play football. He was a defensive player, for his football team, right? In high school, and he went to college for a couple of years. He went to a junior college, and one day he was talking to a friend. He decided he wanted to come back home. But anyway, here how I fall into it. As a kid, I used to like, look at the magazines because back then the most popular cartoon coming up, which featured muscle characters, was He-Man, Thundercats, and I think who else? Well, He-Man, Thundercats, most definitely those two, because the characters, Lion-O and He-Man, how big they were. And I really got into it because that was one thing. That's why male bodybuilders are a lot more popular than the women, because the fact is that it's about the cartoonish superhero types like Superman and Batman, how they look jacked in the comic books or in the movies, you know. But when it comes down to women, it's a different situation. Some people are not comfortable with the idea of women with muscle, you know, and it scares them a bit. They don't understand why these women want to have so much muscle, why they want to be so big, But it's a sport. Now, back in the early days of bodybuilding, you know, there was, it just was totally different, you know, and many of the women had a hard time. People wasn't very accepting of them in their sport. They didn't like the idea, when they first started out originally back in the ooh, early for free bodybuilding. It kind of started back in the early '70s, and it was more like let's say beauty queens, beauty contestants. They just cut out the whole gown and the action question part, and he just went straight to the swimsuit. And men were they were nice shape, they were attractive, they wasn't overly muscular. They really barely had that much muscle at all. Many of them were just fit and in good shape. Mm, take a little sip, but the sport has changed over the years, and you know, mm, my nerves. And the ladies after a while, I think around about the or in say the start of the 80s, many ladies decided to kick off the high heels, and they want to be taken seriously as like the men. Now you go back to classic, like I said, the classics like women like let's say uh Corey Everson, Richard McLeish, um, Carla Dunlap, um, uh, who else I'm trying to think of? There's been quite so many women. I think when I really got into it about the mid to early '80s, and then um, Bev Francis was one woman who really changed the sport because when Bev came in, you know, she was totally different. She came from originally, she was she's an Australian bodybuilder. She competed as a power lifter. She did track and field. She was very massive for a female. And for that reason, there was a debate. There was a movie, if you ever remember the original movie called Pump and Iron, which stars Schwarzenegger, Lou Ferrigno, a lot of other great legends from back in the day. And there was a sequel called Pump and Iron 2, where it's called The Women. And it was this time, it was like following women competing for this contest. It was called the Caesar Cup. It was in Las Vegas, Nevada, in around 1983. And the women who was there was Corey, well, not Corey. Was Corey there? No, not Corey. You had Rick McLeish, you had Carla Dunlap, and also Bev Francis. And for that reason, there was that great debate because Bev was so large. I mean, you know, if I can find a picture of her, I probably, I would, like I said, Bev was just huge for a female. And many of the judges were uncomfortable. They didn't like the idea. There was, some back and forth between other judges, and in the debate that was she's feminine, she's not a female, and that's what I often quite hear that about few bodybuilders want to be like women, right? Be like men, but not trying to be like men. It can't. No matter how much muscle they put on, a female cannot have the same, you know, built the structure compared to a man. Women still the bone structure, even a man and woman are still different. You know, even if even the largest female bodybuilder cannot compare to even maybe okay the smallest male bodybuilder. Now I've seen some pictures of some male bodybuilders who are way smaller than some females, but that's just a different story. Now it's just people just never understood the sport, and I can't blame them. If that's not your thing, that's not your thing. But coming up as a kid, I just found these women just different, and you know it's just I don't know, just seeing a woman from a different shape because I grew up around being, especially being black, grew up around especially black women. Black women are more curvy, round, thicker, big wider hips, bigger booties, and the county I live in it's a mixed county. We have black, white. There's also Native American. There's a tribe called the Lumbee and the Native American, but many believe they're the descendants of the people from the Virginia colonies. What was the colony? Jamestown colony. When they, if you ever heard the history of Jamestown, when many years ago, when the British settled here in the Carolinas, sometimes they go off for a while. Back then, you take a boat trip, you weren't going for just a few weeks and you'll come back. You sometimes gone for a month to a year or so. And then when they came back to the colonies, they found that, the colony was empty. There was no one here. And then I think they saw an Indian, supposed to be an Indian. He had blue eyes, but he speak the language. And the theory was that, he was possibly, you know, uh, a white man who was living, among the tribes. And then back then, the British did bring slaves. You know, so they probably whatever white people were surviving, whatever slaves that were surviving, they moved in with whatever tribe that was there to survive. And then after a while, you just kind of just mend and blend, and if you come like to this county, if you ever see some of these funny women, you would think. I had a friend. She came to me. I used to work at a gas station, and she came one night. We were sitting just talking, and these white guys who I knew they were white guys. They were from out of the state somewhere. I don't know exactly. And they asked, "Wow, is your friend Cuban or Puerto Rican?" I said, "No, she's Native American." I said, "What?" Because she had kind of like blonde kind of hair. Her features looked more like she was half black, but that's the thing with that. There was also half black, but that's beside the point. But I've just like I said, I've always been a big fan of female bodybuilding. I've been following it ooh, since the early '80s up to now. I still follow it. One of my biggest things, I would love to go see a show. You know, and I would love to go, just meet somebody. Right now I am mostly just doing a lot of stuff online, video stuff, but I love to be like shake hands with one of these ladies, say, "Wow, I'm a fan. I've seen you. I've seen your videos. I've seen your movies. I've seen you on stage. Yeah, yeah, yeah." But you know, sometimes right now with things going on right now, traveling is not going to be a great idea. As you know, recently my mother passed away, and I have a lot more free time. And I'm thinking about I'd like to travel, and I think that's one thing I would like to do. You know, I would like to actually go see a bodybuilding show. You know, if I want to do like some like right now, I'm just doing some stuff right now. Like I said, I want to do more interviews. If you follow me, if you're my subscribers and you follow me, that I did do kind of slightly interview with a few bodybuilders from Miss Alicia Ferrio. And if you see my videos, she subscribed to my channel about a few months ago, and she every so often she did a daily exercise in IG, and I popped on. And I was just talking to her, and then I made a request to see if I can do like just talk to her, by through IG, and I recorded that conversation. And I enjoyed it. I still even pop in every now and then talk to her. Her son Leo is a nice little kid. He likes to talk about He-Man and post stuff like that. And I told Miss Affair what I respect about her was the fact that she didn't bend to the knee of silicone. And quite, because the fact is that back in a good part of the ooh, 90s, late 90s, early 80s, there was a push for more female bodybuilders to look more feminine. One thing they said, it's not in paper, but it's kind of an unwritten rule that pretty much they want you to get breast implants. And many female bodybuilders that started off were, silicone free or just had just regular. Like you gotta remember, the female breast is mostly fatty tissue, the memory tissue, and it takes fat for muscle to feed off of. You know, and you got to think about it. If you're doing chest workouts and any of the workouts, any kind of fat you have in your body, that muscle's gonna just start eating, just to feed itself to grow. You know. Oh, I got one person watching. I appreciate you watching, whoever you are. Hey, just put your name in the comment section. You know, what I mean, or come in the live stream, say hello. It's nice to have at least one somebody watching. So I'm doing this for you. um, it's just that's the thing is, many women started getting breast implants, and then also I think about around the tail end of the '80s up to about the mid '90s, the IFBB, which is the National Federation of Bodybuilding, had kind of put in a new rules that the women must come in about 19-20% less muscle, which means they, not as much muscle as they come in. You have to, like, that's why they created the division physique, Physique was supposed to be the classic female bodybuilding look, but if you go back to it, the physique women are still bigger than the classic female bodybuilders. You know, and you think about it. You can't go back. You got to go forward. Hey, Dennis, that's my man, my Lord Dennis, the Warden of the West, and the and you know, and Hand of the King. Thank you, welcome, Dennis. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, you had to come by, but I appreciate you come by. Thank you. And I appreciate the support, Dennis. But like I said, there's always been this long standing that female bodybuilding is dead. And every time you just hear, oh, it's nothing near the coffin, um, like from like back in the, hey, who's that? Yeah. Yes, I am the Lord of the Wall and Protector of the North. Yeah, and that's the Hand of the King, Dennis Espinosa. Yeah, and it always been like this trying to with these each time you think, okay, they're gonna stop it, end it or whatever else. It keeps surviving. It keeps surviving. Mostly because of the fans. Like, as you know, there's a thing called the Olympia weekend. It's the biggest event in bodybuilding history. The Olympia has been around for years. There's several legendary Mr. Olympias like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Lee Haney, Dorian Yates, Ronnie Coleman. I mean, the list has gone on and on of these Olympias. And then there's the Miss Olympia, which was very first Miss Olympia was Richard McLeish. She lost the title to, I forgot the lady's name. I think she was Danish or something. Then she won it back in 82. You know, and then in 83, Carla Dunlap became the first black woman to win the Miss Olympia. Then she lost it to Corey Everson. And Corey Everson had the record. She had 6 Olympias. She was Miss Olympia from 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. She had 6 Olympias. Then after 89, she retired. Then came um, uh, Linda Murray. Linda Murray became the second black woman to come Miss Olympia. She broke the record. Now, she was Miss Olympia from 90 to 96. Now, she lost the title to Kim Zvezky in 96, who became Miss Olympia from 96 to 99. And then Kim decided to retire. And then in 2000, there was 2 Miss Olympias, which I feel like was always bull crap because what decided was they decided to, because in 99, it wasn't going to be a Miss Olympia. It wasn't. And by somehow, some ways, they was able to get together enough competitors, and they had it in I think, a convention hall somewhere in a motel in Jersey. And it was only 12 contestants. I remember most notably Kim Zvezky being the Miss Olympia. There was Laura Creval, who's was considered a long career, like never bridesmaid, always a bridesmaid but never a bride. Vicky Gates, I think Lisa Lewis, Brittany Ragnott, I believe Yesenia O'Keene. I mean, there was quite a number of women. And then it was coincided with another show was called the Extravaganza Show. So they had 2 shows in one. So you had the Miss Olympia and then another show. Now, anyway, 2000 was the Miss Olympia where they decided to put in a weight class, which never makes sense to me. When you go up for the pro, because as an amateur, you have to compete in weight classes. So able to become a pro, you have to win your weight class. Then you compete in overall, and win your overall, you get your pro card. And to me, when you come to pro, there shouldn't be no weight classes. So there was a weight class for Miss Olympia. You had the lightweight, you had the heavyweight. The winner of the heavyweight was a white lady from, where was she from? What was her name was Valentina Chipik, and I forget where she's from. She was from somewhere um the Eastern Europe. I was trying to remember, but it's Eastern Europe. Yeah, I got a thing on You check it. Yeah, I talked about the Miss Olympia. It's in my You join if you join my channel, it should be in there about the controversy of the two Miss Olympias. The second Miss Olympia was one Andrula Blechet. She was from Great Britain, and Andrula to me was great shape. I believe she should have won Miss Olympia, but they went with Valentina because she was blonde. She was good size. She wasn't overly muscular, but she fit the idea. But instead of just say, you know what, let's just have one Miss Olympia, they had two. Instead of that, the lightweight champion, heavyweight champion competing for the title, and just have this one Miss Olympia, decided to have two Miss Olympias, one for the lightweight division, one for the heavyweight division. That was all bullcrap to me. Then in 2001, they a bodybuilder came out retired with Juliette Bergman. Juliette Bergman was a star for a good part of the 80s. She retired for the 90s. She comes out retired, she competes, and she wins Miss Olympia. So then 2002, we return of Linda Murray. Now Linda comes back and she wins two more Olympias, which gives her 8 Olympias. Then she loses the title to Iris Kyle around 2004. That was Iris's first Miss Olympia win. But then Iris loses the title to Yaxini O'Keefe, and then she beats Yaxini. And then after that, from I think 2006 to 2014, Iris takes the title. She is the longest running Miss Olympia with 10 titles under her belt. Plus, she has 7 Miss International titles. That's another contest that was a part of the. It was one of the second biggest bodybuilding shows. Used to be quite a few bodybuilding shows. Miss Olympia usually did, used to stand alone. But after a while, I think to save money, they decided to put Mr. Olympia along with the Mr. Olympia and create the Olympia weekend. And that was like, you had Mr. Olympia, you had fitness, you had physique, you had Master Olympia, you had, several shows all in one weekend. And it's, still going to happen in the end of this month, by December. They're going to have the Olympia weekend, and female bodybuilding is making its return after a 6-year hiatus from the Olympia stage, because it was saved by a gentleman by name Jake Woods. Jake Woods, he owns a company called Wing of Strength, and he's a big supporter of the sport of female bodybuilding. For a while, there was the show that they had, when they ended Miss Olympia, the show they had was called the Rising Phoenix. It's part of the Arizona Pro. It's been around since it started right after around 2015, when a lot of ladies wanted the show for themselves, and it's a good show. I mean, the ladies get like the one of the highest purse ever made. I mean, plus they get a car. I think the first couple of years it was a Jeep, but the last couple of years it's been a car. The recent winner, Miss Hella Trevino, she won a Dodge Hellcat, and she has the Hellcat, and then she won back in 2017. She had gotten a Jeep. Hey, salute to Marcus Bell. Yeah, yeah, appreciate it, brother. I mean, yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I really appreciate people come out here just to listen to me. I like I said, I would like to do something like put like little graphs and stuff like that, but I'm still learning. I want to take my time. I want to just see how this works, and if I get any followers, I'm like a follow my man, the coach, and my brother XA Gucci 23. XA, we need to get back on the wrestling thing, you know, and the WMU app just started doing some live streams just about a few days ago. And you know what? I feel like it's time for me to do one too. I'm gonna try to make this like my Muscle Mondays, because I think Mondays a lot of people have more free time on Monday. Just the weekend's over. You you don't want to go nowhere. You just got home from work. You're just watching TV. Right now, I'm just there's not much of TV. I'm watching classic Star Trek, the episode where it goes to the planet and with the kids who are old. Let me take a sip. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, but anyway, as I was saying, the coming up in December is the return of female bodybuilding to the Olympia weekend, which is, like I said, it has not been seen on the Olympia weekend for almost 6 years. You know, and many people feel like, the fault is that was not enough ticket sales, not enough people want to come see female bodybuilding. It's just so many different stories. But the fact is that, the IFBB didn't really support the sport like it should. I mean, they didn't give the women equal footing. You can, it's one thing I was saying, the sponsors and all that, and the people that put money in these shows. But the thing is, you put the money in. Like, one fact I want to talk about, how these women don't get paid as much. We talk about on my man the coach this last week, how MMA fighters don't get paid as much compared to boxing. And boxing has deep pockets. Their pockets are deep. They go, you know, it's millions and millions and millions and millions. You know, and it's just they're never going to run out of, because there's always a place for it. Even though boxing has fallen off, and the problem is that even though there's deep pockets in MMA, they just don't want to share money like they should. Yeah. No, that was the interview I did with Alicia Florio. I want to get in contact with her and try to do one on here. Marcus, if I can. She's a busy lady. She's a mother. She's a wife. She has stuff a lot to do. But I'd like to get her on here again, or maybe get some more women on here. Oh yeah, hit the like button, people. I got 2 likes, and that might make me 3. You know, and share this with your friends. Reach out to the others, see if they want to come on and listen to me just ramble off about female bodybuilding. Now, there's one thing I like about the sport. It's just that these ladies, they have a hard time, especially financial wise. Because, like I said, I talked to quite a few. This is more of a hobby than a sport compared to other sports. And then they're lucky enough, some will get sponsors. But generally, most sponsors like to go with the bikini girls, the physique girls, and certain figure women, because they look more, well, feminine in my mindset. But there's, sometimes, the ladies have to do things to be able to make profit. And they do video chats, something like Skype. It's sessions where guys were paid to, muscle worship, to wrestle, to just all kinds of stuff. Not going too much details, but you know, and it's a way for them to try to make a profit. Because, like I said, this sport is not as much money. Like, just recently, this had a show which was a Tampa Bay show, and the winner of that show was LaDonna McDay, and she won that show for the women's division. She got $3,000. Second place was Janine Kowski, who got $2,000, and third place is a lady I follow on Facebook, one Maria Flores. And I done a video about Maria, and she's from Guam. She's a former Army sergeant. She got into bodybuilding, pretty much for your life. She's 60 years old. She's a grandmother and a wife, and a mother, wife, grandmother, and she's amazing. This year was her best year. She came in some great condition this year, and I would say I think I have her Twitter or something like here. I would say follow her, check out her site, just reach out to these ladies. These are still women. No matter what people say, because they got muscles, they're trying to be men. Like I said again, they're not trying to be men. They want to be treated just like any other athlete. Like, we talk about this, like, Marcus and Dennis. We talk about how women in MMA does not get a lot of respect. Like how Dana White, he had. I think the biggest thing was him for him was Ronda Rousey. But now, other than maybe Holly Holm, or used to be Paige Van Zandt, and a couple other ladies, he doesn't really respect the women in mixed martial arts. Remember that question you talked years ago when I said, "Hey, where do you think women can ever come to UFC?" He can't say no. But then he realized the mistake he made, and he changed his narrative. but still, you don't give women the fair shake like you should. And these ladies, like I said, they don't make much money. Many of them have to. It's hard to hold down a full-time job because you have to train, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's just a lot of work. And so, most of our trainers, most of them, have to find ways to make a profit. Yeah, yeah, Rhonda, yeah, Holly took Rhonda's spot, and she's not that great. I mean, Holly has more losses than Rhonda if you look at her numbers, and let's keep her around. I mean, I'd be surprised. The person I would push, would be, Valentina. Valentina should be taking that spot because Valentina is winning, and she's dominant. She's scaring girls, you know. But mm, 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 excuse me. But the thing is this, the sport is difficult, and there's a lot of mental factors to it, like modification. Me ladies have to, really change their bodies. There's a lot of some mental issues to it. That's why quite some women come in the game, they do pretty good, and then eventually they retire or quit because of financial or medical reason, or just that they just feel that they can't handle the stress of people making judgments. Like when they go out and and they be out and about and say, "Hey, you're not a woman, you're a man. You want to be a man." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they say, "You know what? I'm just tired of it." And yes, like Nate Diaz says, everybody use steroids. And many women have admitted, yes, they have used steroids or use some factors of the thing. They do drug testing, but I've quite often seen some ladies that the drug testing in the IFBB is a joke. There was a lady that I was talking with, another lady called Danny Lynn Bailey. She was very popular in the sport. She competed in physique. She was doing pretty good. She won a couple of titles. And then the story goes that somebody snitched that because she was on taking PEDs or some kind of a muscle enhancer. And then because of that, she was stripped of all her titles. The story is that she might be trying to come back, this year. She might try to come back next year, especially with the whole thing with the whole pandemic and everything like that. There's not that many shows. There's supposed to be one coming up in about a couple weeks called Savannah Pro, which is a Linda Murray show. Also, I posted on here, I did a video where there's a New York Pro, which was a classic show. A lot of ladies used to compete there, but they decided to drop that from bodybuilding for that show. It's leaving New York because New York has very strong COVID guidelines. So they moved down to Tampa. It's kind of like when Dana White was having the UFC matches around Jacksonville, and now he's having it in Vegas. But it's one of the good shows. There's also another show called Chicago coming up, and after that you have the Rising Phoenix, the Miss Olympia, the Olympia weekend, and I think there's supposed to be one in October, which is called the Romanian Muscle Fest in October, November, and that's a show that's pretty much ran by Alina Pupa. Now, Alina Pupa, if you know, if I took a video about her, she was a two-time Miss Olympia runner-up. She placed third at the Rising Phoenix back in 2017. It was 2016, 2017. She came back, 2017. Took some time off, came back, and she won the 2018 Miss Rising Phoenix. Well, that's not Miss Rising Phoenix. And there's so many fewer shows for these ladies to have. I mean, and the competition. You have so many ladies that are over in Europe that can't come and compete, and it's hard for them because like places like Italy, um, I think England, Spain. Many of those countries have uh, travel bans, so they can't come over and compete. Like this year's Tampa Bay show having 6 contestants, which was and back in the day, last year released about almost 20 contestants and only 6. And then there was another show before that was Omaha Pro. I think they had just about the same 6 or 7 ladies that time. And many ladies that couldn't come over from overseas and compete, missed out. I talked to one lady via IG and asked her what she's going to do the Muscle Fest. Said she might not. She's not sure. She wanted to come do the Tampa because she's in Italy. She lives in Italy. She couldn't make it. So what's up? So what's the next plan for them? Well, many ladies probably going to wait till 2021, where the whole thing with the virus comes down, when they have put it in control. The problem is America is the stupidest country in the world. You know, everybody else has pretty much have either controlled the virus or just totally annihilated it. Well, here's the fun thing: we tied for 7th with Brazil. Yes, the U.S. Brazil. Wait, some parts of it is very poor. Brazil, even though it's a big country, is very poor. Some parts are very poor compared to America, which has more. We have more better technology. We have better science. We have better, healthcare. It's not as good, but it's better compared to Brazil. But the problem is the ignorance that's sitting right now in the White House. You know, and people who are also right here who saying, "Oh, this is a whole um, conspiracy," but it's serious. Like my mom died from this disease, and it's just not the same. I just wish I didn't even let her go to the hospital. That's the one thing I just never wanted to go to the hospital. Because if she got it here because of me, I can accept it. But she got it, in the hospital. But I'm just like I said. Mm, oh, mm, don't mind me. I'm just drinking soda. Anyway, mm, these ladies out here are, professional female bodybuilders. This is from the um 2019, no, 2018 Toronto Pro. 2019? Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, I think it's 2019. Yeah, 2019 Toronto Pro. And me being the fanboy I am, I can tell you the names of most of the women, you know, who are at this show. You know, wait a minute, get this right. Yeah, where was I? Here he is. Now, it should be up now. Hmm. And here we go. I think one of y'all see it. Y'all see it? I got on screen share. It's kind of funny. This thing. I'm still trying to work with this thing. I should have really practiced on it before I got on. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. I've got lags when it's on here, and And we get back to, there we go. Anyway, this is from the 2019, 2018. I think it's 2019. Miss, yeah, I get everything figured out. You know, it's just, yeah, there we go. Yeah, and Canadian ladies right here. Um, this one right here is Mona Posel. She just finally got to the Rising Phoenix last year. Right here is Miss Pamela Hinham, if I get her name correctly. This is Margie V. Martin. She was the first one to win the Rising Phoenix show. Then right here is Tina Hugh. She's a Canadian bodybuilder, just like Mona here. This is Irene Anderson. She's from Switzerland. It's Sweden. I think it's Sweden. And these other three ladies, I forgot their names. I'm sorry. I apologize, but you know, I wish I knew their names. But these amazing women, and they, take their time and and they're serious about what they do in this sport. They're serious. You know. Let's see. See, most of these are just mostly, you know, fitness, physique, bikini models. That'd be bodybuilders. So like, yeah, yeah. See, yeah. These ladies are it. Now you have bikini. Yeah, right here. Any minute. Uh, Even women like this, guys will say we're too muscular. Like, yeah. Now, got some bikini models here. Hmm. Now, even like women like this, guys, I think are too muscular. You know, most guys like women look more soft. Some guys like women to be a little thinner. It's just a different a range of what you like as a male. You know, and like I said, there's nothing bad wrong with them. They're fine, they're all right. But like I said, I'm a fan of female bodybuilders. And I support them. And I support the sport. Like, so the guidelines for the sport is that, to be more feminine, so you can really get more sponsors. Originally bikini started out as like back in the day, like Fort Lauderdale, and the girls come there in the summer, and they get into bikinis because they either got broke from drinking too much or spending too much. So they take one of the best, either one or two of the best looking girls, they go compete. You get a bunch of old guys who got nothing to do, and the girls do a little dancing, a little stuff like this, and then they might do a wet bikini thing. That's where it started off. Then companies like Hawaiian Topic and Hooters started creating bikini contests, and then eventually the IPB saw that IPB and the NPC, which is the National Physique Committee, saw that it was getting really popular, so they decided to you know bring it into there and make it to part of the sport. Originally, there was a sport called fitness, and fitness was supposed to take the place of bodybuilding, but for some reason or another, you know, it just didn't go off as good. There's quite a few bodybuilders that jumped to the sport. One of the biggest slap in the faces to me as a bodybuilding fan when the four-time Miss Olympia Kim Zavatsky decided to become a fitness competitor. You got to think about it. She had to drop a lot of muscle. Now, like I said, Kim's last competition as a Miss Olympia was back in '99, and she came back in physique around about 2001, and she had to lose a lot of muscle, and she looked strange. And then when you do the physique, there's like three categories. There's bikini, there's the performance category, which flip and you dance and you perform for the crowd, and then if the last category, then you end up in a one piece. And it just she looked like like she used to be, you know. But like I said, well, there's so much I want to talk about. I think eventually I will come back on here again. I appreciate that Dennis Espinosa came by, you know, and I appreciate that Marcus Bell, you came by, Marcus. I know, and just to hear me just talk, just off the cuff. Maybe next time I'll sit down and write some stuff, talk about a little bit more of the history, and then it'd be cool, Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. My Marcus, I really appreciate it. You know, and maybe get some more people to come on. I might even, like I said, I'm hoping someday, if I can get maybe a female bodybuilder to come on and do the stream, talk. Y'all can ask questions. Right now I'm sending out feelers. I'm sending out, emails and jump on IG and send messages and hoping they say yeah, maybe yeah, just come on for a minute and just talk about themselves, how they got into the sport, the stuff they got to do to try to maintain and stay in shape. You know, it's just a lot I want to do, and this is my first live stream. Yeah, I'm still a bit raw. I'm still a bit raw, but eventually I'm getting to the point where I'll be at the level of coach. I'm gonna be like coach. Yeah. But like I said, it's your man George Page. Like, subscribe. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.